Let's see. Yes, much better. Thank you. Now we're good to go. Hello everyone spectating. We are starting out with NetHackathon the Plunderer, which is a class of...
Barbarian.
What class is that? Barbarian. Yeah, so we're going to be having a melee-focused character, I assume. We have an intelligence of 8 and charisma of 6, so I will be surprised to see if this goes that way. There is a chaotic altar. We are chaotic, so on the very first level we have our own altar, so that's a very good sign. The chest is locked. What is he going to do? Is he gonna force it? Is he gonna kick it? Is he gonna just leave it behind? Oh my god, what kind of a choice is that? Not judging you at all. Another chest that turns out to be locked, leaving that behind as well. Oh my goodness. I guess he's really afraid of the level 1 monsters that are non-existent to plunder that booty just straight from in front of our eyes. Going to level 2 with Kujo, and the goblin is killed. Fantastic. We're gaining some very valuable experience points. Our strength is 17 and dexterity is 17, so that's starting with the bestest most stats for Barbarian tonight. Now, next up will be... what is he going to do? Going left, going left, going left. I think there's still a room on the right, but I guess we're not being completionist. I mean, is it just me or... I'm glad that none of us in the NetHack community have any kind of obsessiveness over mapping the entire level. So dropping the dagger there on the altar to find out if it's cursed, it's uncursed. So now using the dagger to crack and pry open the chests. So there is a small possibility of breaking your weapon when you're forcing in the chest, so it's not a very wise, if you really like that weapon, you don't want to use that for forcing the chest. The thing about what I like to do is to kick the chests open, but that always breaks some of the potions inside if there are potions inside the chest. So in the chest, if there are some potions, they will break it. Eating some fatty jackal corpse, but also sacrificing one, so getting a little bit of a luck going on with the gods there. So usually in the beginning of the game you can't get prey until you're around, 500 turns in. It changes a little bit, but we are not in any kind of danger right now. So we're gonna force the other chest as well, succeeding in it, and there's an unknown scroll there. So, NetHack being the turn-based RNG generated game that it is, we are now just simply exploring whatever new items. The items have nothing to do with the things that you have found in previous games. There's a lawful altar and a long sword, which I think as a barbarian we have skill in axe and I think dagger. I don't think that there's... and since we're a chaotic character anyway, the longsword can't be used to dip for Excalibur, let's say. Sometimes forgetting about that little factoid, but nevertheless, longsword is an okay weapon, even if you are unskilled. But right now we have our starting weapon of, I think, a battle axe, or just an axe, two-handed sword. Yeah, so we have two-handed sword. I'm not sure if this is a 3.7 change that we are starting with that instead of a battle axe. But anyway, progressing on. So there was a room on the right, and it had an altar and a fountain. So, I'm just patting myself on the back here for being correct about that. Continuing the map, the levels, dungeon level 2, we find a whistle, a high whistling sound. That will mean that it's a tin whistle, so Unit is here just calling it a tin whistle so that he doesn't have to blow the other whistles if he finds them, because there's two types of whistles in NetHack. There's a tin whistle and magic whistle, so the magic whistle will teleport your pet next to you. So pro sporting event. I mean, this is a pro net hacking event, so I'm just keeping to the tune. I'm also feeling very chatty. I'm actually making a tea, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go complete my tea making in a minute. So there will be a moment of silence, but not quite yet. We have found a key. So key, by far one of the most superior items of NetHack, will enable us to get anywhere, anyhow. Open the chests, open doors, lock chests. Super, super, super exciting. Very good find. Now going back to level 2, I presume. Yeah, to map that, it's always good to kind of make a little dip to the next level, because the next level monsters are generated according to your level. So now that we're on experience level 2, and if we go to, let's say, experience level 3, then the monsters generated will be according to your level. And of course the dungeon level that you're on. Not picking up a lockpick because we already have a key. Now going back to the left, seeing what's there. There's a room with a scroll, whoop-de-doo. I think the early game NetHack not like super thrilling stuff, because there's the monsters in general, especially with starting with a barbarian, they are not like super dangerous. I think because the barbarian is actually a very strong character for the early game. The weapons that they start with are good. The armor class is not as strong as the Valkyries, but nevertheless a very strong character for the beginning of the game. So not really that dangerous. I believe that barbarians even start with poison resistance, if I'm remembering that correctly. Oh, hashtag orc. Are we an orc? What the what? Yeah. All right. We are apparently an orc barbarian, so that means that we are poison resistant. So we are able to even eat corpses quite safely in the early game. I have never played orc barbarian. I have played barbarian, but not orc barbarian. But they differ in some senses. So now if we find a blessed scroll of genocide, let's not genocide hobgoblins and goblins and so on and so on. Here we have another dungeon level that seems to be a very ordinary one. We have 2 stairs down, so one of them will be going into the Gnomish Mines, and the other one will continue on the main dungeon branch. Unit seems to be choosing to go into the Gnomish Mines first, which is an interesting choice. There is a possibility of finding chocolate, apparently, but we are also we also have a bigger chance of finding some good armor in the Gnomish Mines. So it's a little bit of both pathways are dangerous in their own way. As a barbarian, it is definitely doable to go to the Gnomish Mines first to try to find some armor. We certainly have enough food. I'm not sure if Unit will here be picking up food. Our strength is 17, so there's a lot of stuff that still can still be carried. And so just dropping some items here, seeing if Cujo picks it up, because if your pet picks up an item, then it means that it's uncursed or blessed, and you can safely wear that. If the pets don't want to step on your stuff, then that means that it's probably cursed. And now Unit is saying, ooh, mattock. So looking forward to that dwarvish mattock for mining purposes. So there is a rusty pickaxe here, but there is a dwarvish mithril coat. That is by far, that is a really strong early game find. There is, that gives you a lot of AC, where movements are now being hindered by being burdened, but that's okay. I'm not sure if Unit is going to try to get the dog to pick up this stuff, or just simply going above a little bit back to the altars, which will perhaps be slightly quicker. Wink, wink, not nudge, nudge. Since there are 2 altars on dungeon level 1, and we're not that far. But yeah, now wearing the dwarvish iron helm. So the dwarvish iron helm gives you -2. picking up the pair of iron shoes and also the mithril coat. Also wearing the shoes, they are +0, no enchantment there. Also, at this point, it's possible like not to even care about like whether the mithril coat is cursed or not, cursed or uncursed. And now we have gotten our AC down to 0, so the dwarvish mithril coat gives you a lot more AC than the orcish ringmail. But of course now I believe the choice is to see what to drop, and I think the orcish ringmail will be left behind for unburdening purposes. Unit continuing to go kill a hobbit on the way to pick up a rusty pickaxe and picking up a dagger. You're beginning to feel weak. All right, we might be going for death by hunger. So eating a food ration to satiate that hunger. Now there is a floating eye. What will he do? Will he try to melee kill it and just trust that nothing will come? Readying darts. So throwing darts at the floating eye to kill it. If you try to melee kill the floating eye, then that will freeze you to place. Unfortunately, the dog was eating our floating eye corpse because that delicious treat should have been left to us to get some telepathy. But unfortunately, the dog got there first, so I think we should kill the dog. But anyway, Cujo was a really bad dog, and now I guess Cujo has telepathy. I don't know if that's any use to Cujo, but alright, Cujo. Your days are numbered. Blindfolded Cujo? Yeah. We're encountering a giant, and with AC 0 and stuff, we're in a pretty strong position for early game here. Granted that nothing super terrible comes our way, or if we're getting flanked by several enemies. Now, furthermore, looking at the stuff, adjusting. All right, so starting to adjust the stuff in the inventory. So some people have a habit that in NetHack they want to have a certain item with a certain letter. So they, for example, Unit here was mapping the P to be a pickaxe, and some people like to put U for unicorn and B for blindfold and so on and so on. I'm not one of those people, but no judgment. I only want to have my bag at X. You monster. Surely not. We have another floating eye, so now if Cujo does not trick us again, alright, Unit locking Cujo out. Trying to get Cujo to stay behind. Unfortunately, the dog is really quick, so of course the dog cannot open doors. Oh, we have 2 floating eyes in the same room, so that's kind of exciting. Just quickly closing the door. Cujo cannot follow us through closed doors, so now looking at, we are in a locked room, so he could technically melee kill these floating eyes and trust that nothing comes in. That floating eye didn't leave a corpse. Throwing darts again, throwing a dagger at the floating eye, killing the floating eye, and no corpse was left, so that is very sad. So we go without telepathy. Now, next up, all right, we have the stairs down. We have 2 scrolls called kirja, which, funnily enough, I don't know if any of you know, but the kirja in Finnish means letter, like an actual, like a letter in the mail, that kind of letter. So I don't know if that's the influence of some long time ago Finnish developer or what's up with that, but anyway, that is what it means. And again, unlocking the run, unlocking the chest here, floor of engraving. Looking at the engraving, the cake is a lie. What? Okay, I was not prepared for that. I guess some kind of reference for taking the cake. I don't know. Sometimes the engravings are more than mythical, in my opinion. I have no idea what some of them seem to mean, but regardless. Now, looking at the inventory, potions, tins, eggs, daggers, etc., etc. An orc in a dwarvish getup. So we are putting some stuff into the chest and locking it. So I guess we are doing the classic of stashing, which is fair enough because in the when you are actually having the items in your inventory, and if we were to get fire attacked right now, some of the scrolls and potions could be burning. And kaboom, the booby trap door takes 10 hit points. A spell book that we certainly don't need, but anyway, maybe for selling purposes, if there is a shop, you can sell the spell book for good money if that's what. But as a barbarian, there's really not much purpose into trying to learn some spells, especially in the early game. Reading an unknown. Oh, oh, okay. So we had an egg in our backpack, and the egg was hatching. So apparently, Unit is now a spider daddy. So I don't know if he's ever gonna recover from me calling him Spider Daddy, but that's what happens now. So when you have an egg, so when you have an egg in your backpack and it hatches, there's a chance that whatever is hatching from that egg will become your pet. So we are currently roaming the dungeon with a little baby spider and a dog. So what will the spider daddy do next? I think the spider is actually leaving some web around, which seems kind of annoying, but nevertheless, we can't kill a baby spider. Unit is from Australia after all, and Australians just love their spiders. Maybe the most spider-friendly country in the world. So what should I name it? If there are any suggestions for what to call the spider, write that in the chat. I have the chat open, so I am able to see if there are any suggestions for the spider baby to be called something. Now we had an epic development arc with the baby dragon called Beatrice, which I still think that name just. But anyway, there's an epic story arc for that pet. All right, this person is saying in the chat that we should name the baby spider Unit Junior. Which is. Are you saying I'm a spider? Like, no, you're the spider daddy. So henceforth, unit known, aka Spider Daddy, really step into that web. So this is one of the developments of 3.7, where it asks you like, okay, there is a trap. Like, do you really want to step into it? And now extracting Cujo from the web. So the spider has left the corridor full of web. So the Cujo is getting tangled in the web. So we're gonna dig another way out. And this might be the better choice, but I don't know how it's gonna be with the pet spider, because I think it's just gonna keep on leaving web. Let's see what happens when chatting to the spider. I think the spider has nothing to say. Beginning to feel weak, so opening the tin, it smells like lichen, so pureed lichen. I'm sure that was nutritious, very, very nutritious. So far, I think we have actually maintained vegan conduct so far, because I think that you have illiterate. When did you? I guess. Oh yeah, you ate a jackal corpse on level 1. That's right. So there goes the vegan conduct. Dig 6 west, 1 north. Okay. I mean, if you dig, it will take you to dungeon level 5. So, or dungeon level 7. So Because if you dig down, if we are listening to this, okay, we are digging a pit. Oh my god, there is stuff in the pit. We are finding a clear potion and a leash and food rations and yellow gems. Wow, I was not expecting that. I thought that that was one of those bogus engravings, but this is kind of a cool development in 3.7. That in the engraving there is this kind of a tip. I guess it depends. I saw that before in my game, but I don't think I had anything to dig with. So now we happen to have something to dig with, and so we actually found some plunder. That's kind of cool. So again, looking at the item list, because we are again burdened. I think it's strength 17. I don't think we have a lot of things that are keeping us burdened. The weapons are heavy, and also we are wearing a lot of armor. Potions are also especially heavy. So whenever you're holding a lot of potions, they are heavy, and all that kind of stuff. So that might not be the best. But regardless, so one option is to, of course, leave the items behind. It can, like, if you don't want to drink unknown potions and you don't want to keep them with you, you can always leave them in some kind of chest. Especially now that we have like a locking tool. So there's gonna be a stash here. So leaving behind some of the food rations, so we don't really need that many food rations with us either. This is true. So there is now there's a little dog that's getting smitten and unlocking a door, going down the stairs where we find Team A. Yay! So there is a soldier ant here. Technically, we can take on the soldier ant, but soldier ants are super, super quick. And we are getting very deep into the dungeon for early game. So we are not getting early game Sokoban. The Sokoban seems to be quite deep into the dungeon. Sometimes you get Sokoban entry at level 6 or something, and which makes it a little bit easier, but not this time. We are fairly deep into the dungeon with experience level 5. Now we have been wielding a two-handed sword, and so that means that you cannot use a shield at the same time, which is fine. The shield would give maybe -1 AC. Now there is another chest. I'm gonna assume that it's gonna get opened, and I don't know, a unit doesn't seem to be doing any untrapping. Sometimes people do want to untrap their chests. So you can hashtag untrap a chest and then see if it has any kind of traps on it. But I don't know, we seem to be standing still. Was just dealing with spammer. All right. Oh, that's right. There is a spammer saying sorry for bothering you. But I mean, at least the bots are sorry. We did see this in another chat as well previously. But yeah, there. So I noticed that I actually have a sword in units chat, so I was able to just ban this whatever faithful Museum J, who seems to be. And they are polite at least. Exactly. So, however, we do not want anything to do with that kind of riffraff. You know, the artificial riffraff that has been created and are terrorizing Twitch users everywhere. Now continuing on to dungeon level 7. Now this is getting a little bit dangerous. We're experience level 5, so monsters that are generated are becoming more and more dangerous the further down you go. We have a pony here that can be a strong opponent. We also have a giant ant, a kobold zombie. That's not that bad. But the pony can kick hard and fast, so it can be. If we didn't have such a good armor class for the early game, throwing a melon at the pony has tamed it, so now we have a pony as well. So let us know in the chat if there's something that you would like to call the pony. So we have a little dog. We also have a lamp. Oh my god, it can be a magic lamp. So there's a couple of ways to find out if the lamp is a magic lamp. The one way is to rub it and see what happens. The other one is to, of course, use the scroll of identify, but also one way is to light it up and see how many turns it takes to dim up. So we have indications that the lamp is cursed. So the lamp flickers for a moment. That means that the lamp is cursed. However, if you turn on a magic lamp, it will stay lit until forever if it's a magic lamp. But don't get discouraged if your cursed lamp doesn't want to turn on, because you will just try keep turning it on. It will eventually turn on. So it is now turn around 2,700 when we turn the lamp on. So there is you can kind of estimate like how long a regular lamp would take. But if the lamp doesn't, dim down in, I would say, not sure how many turns, maybe 500 turns or so, and then that is indication that it could be a magic lamp. I'm not sure what the exact turn count for that is, but however, that is something to keep in mind. We also have those altars, so we will be able to find out if the clear water that we have with us is holy water, because holy water can be used to bless items, and when we do have when we can bless items, then if we have a magic lamp, then we can bless it. Now we have a fire ant here, which is fast and which is kind of bad, because the fire ant can it can put us on fire and destroy our items. Eating a fire ant corpse can also give you fire resistance, but this case, eating the corpse did not give us fire resistance. So, but we have another chance. We have 2 more fire ants, so it's getting spicy. You're on fire. So this might mean the end of our items. The scrolls and potions might actually burn up. We don't really have a lot of other items than the melee kill them, but we do have. And so you avoid harm. That means that when the special attack of the fire ant is to set us on fire, that means that we were not getting set on fire. Now, the fire ants, the actual hit on us is not that bad. It's mainly the fire effect that is more concerning. Locking the door in front of us and then also battling the fire ant, we are at 12 hit points. Going for a writing here, engraving Elbereth on the floor. So Elbereth scares the monsters, not all of them, but the fire ants certainly. And now I'm gonna assume that we are gonna stand on that square until we have regained hit points. If you hit things, like I said, if you hit things from Elbereth square, then that will fade the engraving, and you will lose your safe harbor there, and you will feel like a hypocrite as well. We have we're getting hungry, eating again a food ration. Now venturing forward, I believe, killing the fire ant. Maybe that was the last of it. Rabbit rat, really powerful early game enemy if you don't have resistance for poison. So rabbit rats can have a poison attack. Now there's another floating eye, which is very exciting. We have another chance at telepathy if it leaves a corpse. I'm going to assume that we're gonna throw darts at it. We also have a cave spider, and there's another cave spider hiding under the cave spider. Killing cave spiders first and floating ice. The floating ice don't actually actively attack you. You have to attack them. They don't have. They only have a passive attack. So now we are out of weapons. So we're gonna have to wait until the floating eye moves, and then oh my goodness, and get our weapons back. But now the pony attacked the floating eye, and the pony is stuck on top of our weapons. So that's a fun part here. Throwing a corpse at a floating eye, I have never seen this before, but maybe it works. Now we have no other choice than, well, we are chaotic, so we could technically kill the pony, but regardless, we wait for the pony to wake up and move from on top of our weapons, and then we can get our weapons back and to try to attack the floating eye. Now one risk here is that because unit went out of the room, that the floating eye will move into this corridor, and then we won't be able to get past. But the floating eye has been killed by the pony, and now we have a floating eye corpse here, which we eat. It's gamey, and we feel strange mental acuity, and and we got telepathy from that. Unit was just writing like, phew, it was not rotten. So if you leave a corpse for too long, then if you leave a corpse for too long, then in that case, the corpse can become rotten, and you will become deathly ill and die from eating that corpse. However, now let me excuse myself for a moment. I'm gonna fix that tea, and I will be right back.
Thanks, Cloud. Alright, so we're burdened, so let's drop some. I don't need this cave spider corpse, that's for sure. It's probably worth. I was trying to go for an early soaker barn, I guess, but it's probably worth going back to the mines, I guess, and seeing if we have anything interesting in there, particularly a magic lamp. We'll go one more level. What could go wrong? Thanks, Mixo. I think I lost Cujo somewhere, but I'm not. What is that? That's another tin. Whoa. Okay, more ants. Actually, do you know what? They're bees, aren't they? So let's just take a few. We're standing on the stairs here, so we're okay for the moment. I can't believe I haven't got any enhancement yet, which seems strange. Oh, there's another. Oh, whoa. Okay, we're getting out of here. Beefy healer that went on turn 28k. Okay, that looks good. We'll leave that engraving there, and I think it's time to get out of here. Well, you can't dig down from the stairs. It might be, and if I'm on the stairs, I can't engrave Elberus either. Yeah, I don't know. We'll worry about it later, I guess. But yeah, we'll go check out Mine Town. We're a caveman. I'm not a caveman orc. We can eat a dog. That's fine. Ooh, but there's some tastier food. Starting. Yay.
And we're back. So, now, black, rotten food, everything goes dark. We are blind. Woo, we can see again. Woo! Such turn of events. We are traveling forward with our pony, with our lamp still lit. So we are over 3,400 turns. Still need a name for this horse. All right. If anybody has a horse name on mind, seems like Mixo is saying, seems like there has been quite a lot of splats lately. A pity about the beefy healer that went on to 28k. This looks like a job for dig down next time. All right, so some spicy situations. Dwarf lady hits again. Unfortunately, dwarf lady is now dead. Yeah, so make a suggestion in the chat for any horse names. I don't know why, but in my mind there's only like some Finnish names, and I'm not gonna go that stupid here. So, getting burdened for a pair of iron shoes to check if they have a better enchantment. So taking off the shoes that we have and dressing up in other shoes, which are also +0, so not really worth it to keep both of them. But it is worth to check around if there's... Mixo's daughter suggests Slee, so SLEIGH. So we are calling the pony Slee.
I guess that's Slay, not Slee.
Hey, I'm just a poor Finnish person. How can I know these things?
A toy brand.
Slee? Okay, it seems Mixo says a toy brand. G1 Lord, G1 Lord says, I think Slee rhymes with knee. See? But anyway, Slay, I don't know. But is it like Slay, like Slayer, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer? But anyway, it is now called it's now called Slayer. Slayer. Anyway, the mysterious pony has now been named. We'll see what happens to that pet. I think a spider is also still nameless. Oh, seems it's written Schlee. Okay, so it's apparently SCHLEICH. So apparently, Schleich. I don't. These are very, very good suggestions. G1 Ord is saying, getting excited for a vault on this floor. So whenever you have somebody counting gold coins, it means that there's some kind of vault on this level. There's like a 4x4 room that is completely closed off. With the pickaxe that we have, we can technically dig to it, and if we find it, then we can just simply take all the monies from it, but don't get caught because the Keystone Cops will get you. Sometimes there are teleport traps and you get teleported into this room, and then you will be forced to drop that gold and follow the guards that come your way. That's sometimes annoying because in the early game you can't really take on the guards, but at least you know where that room is and you will be able to dig there later, so it doesn't matter if you... lamp still lit. I know, right? So it seems that we have a magic lamp on our hands, at least so far. So now if we get that lamp blessed, we will have a better chance of a wish. Now, it's not necessary to bless the lamp, but it will make you... it will give you a better chance of a wish if you do. One lucky strike there as well. We found a jar of spinach, so when you eat that, it will increase your strength. So we have increased our strength score by 1 from 17 to 18. So that was really good. Again, stepping into the millions of spider webs left behind by our pet spider. Unit the Spider Daddy continues on an adventure quest. So that's kind of exciting, I suppose. The pony is perhaps a slightly more useful pet than the spider, but, questionable judgments. Now, exploring the upper left corner of this level, there's a giant bat, there's a hobbit, an elven mithril coat that can give us, if we check out what it is and how it is, that can actually be possibly a better armor than what we currently have. So, I guess we're gonna be burdened and taking it with us. Or maybe just wearing it regardless. Somebody's playing the Popeye theme song. I have no memory of how that one goes. I vaguely remember when I was a very, 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 very small child that it was a thing. But I don't know if that show has been seen anywhere for ages. Now, exploring, dropping on an elven mithril coat, it's +0, so not that much better than the dwarvish mithril coat that we have. So we're gonna keep on wearing. Dwarvish cloaks don't actually give you like any AC unless you start to enchant them. So currently exploring the final, no, maybe not necessarily the final room, but there is a there was a room there, and then also checking the condition of our pet, because the pets, like ponies, they only eat some vegetarian food. So unless you're feeding it, they are not like the dogs where they can just eat any corpse that is left around. They will require like apples and melons and bananas and all that kind of stuff, lichen or stuff like that. So we have another egg, so that's gonna be interesting. We'll see what hatches from. Oh no! So it seems that Unit the Spider Daddy has has had enough of becoming a spider daddy to multiple spiders. So that egg was promptly splatted on the wall. Interesting choice there, Spider Daddy. I guess fatherly love only goes so far. But regardless, we're continuing to explore the levels, the closing the door, locking the door. So we are practically in a closet right now. I'm gonna assume that this is for taking off all armor, for riding Elbereth. See no objects, you want to drink stuff. Okay, interesting. So getting confused from booze, drinking a random potion, and it's booze, so it was confusing you, and then moving on to you perceive yourself, you are hallucinating. So we found there's a potion of hallucination, and we have a glimmer of our status. So we have poison resistance, and we are telepathic. Your awareness renormalizes, so we are getting the munchies, so waiting the hallucinations out in this closet. So, oh wow, like superior, man. And then continuing the count, being foolish, not paying attention, hearing some noises, hearing more noises. You feel worried about your pet, so the pet is probably running out of food or getting worried about it. Again, I don't think that we have pretty much anything that we can give to the pet. Could we dip test it first? Well, we don't have. Well, I suppose. I don't think we have a unicorn horn to dip potions with. We do. Interesting. Call and calling a magenta potion. Magenta. Interesting. so there's some kind of dipping going on, but I prefer drinking them full on. But now that it's hallucinating, just test for poly, I guess. Yeah, I suppose. I never do that, but regardless. Yeah, horse will eat chocolate. It is vegan. Yes, the chocolate or whatever fruit you have named in the game, that will be vegan, but I'm not like that was not the implication here. I was implying that we don't have that much food with us, so I think that we should keep the chocolate to ourselves. That's my implication. Everything looks so boring now, so that was quite some time that we were hallucinating in a closet. Now unlocking the door, wearing the armor again. Unit, your voice is so different from what I remember. That's right. I decided to change my voice completely and also completely get rid of my Australian accent. So, what's up, Luthari bro? How are you? Let's hear your Aussie accent. Absolutely not. There is no such thing. I can only do a very strong accent, and we can think about this accent while we look for the Tower of Vlad. We can look for the Tower of Dracula. I can only do that accent. So these are your choices: my normal speaking or the most terrible fake vampire accent. So make choices. Mixo is saying impressive makeover. Thank you. Jill Law is saying I like the strong accent. Preferences. As a Finnish person, it's fairly easy for me to do a very strong R because we only have strong R. That is the R that we have. There is no other type of R. You just say, when you say R, you say R. So that's. But yeah, Slayer is with us yet again, and then also going back to dungeon level 1 for the altar. So I'm guessing curse testing our stuff. So we have a bunch of items with us, and we can go to the level 1 altar and then beginning to feel weak. And this is what I mean. Like, this is yummy chocolate. So we are now out of food. I think Unit actually left some food behind on one of the levels because we were burdened. I'm guessing, is that the percentage sign that is actually on this level? I'm not sure. So dropping all the unknown items onto the altar to find out if they're cursed or blessed or what. Unsurprisingly, the lamp is actually cursed. So, and we have some cursed scrolls as well. Uncursed lizard corpse, etc., etc. Our clear potion is just water; it's uncursed, but that can be made into holy water by praying with that on the altar. If we are going to do that, we don't have a lot of potions to make into holy water, but some. Nevertheless, let's see. Unit is traveling to fountain, and I'm guessing that some of the potions are gonna become water. We have unknown potions at this point of the game. We don't know which potions these are, but if you want to make them into water, then you can dip the potions into the fountain to dilute them, which is what we're doing now, and it's to get more water. And the more water, because if we pray on the altar, we might get holy water. And now we have 3 potions of water that I think that Unit is going to now make into holy water by placing them on the altar and then praying on the altar. So this is indeed what is happening there right now. Now, you feel that Seth is well pleased. Right. You feel in good health, and we have 3 blessed clear potions. So we now have holy water, and we are hungry and just prayed. Just find your. Are those percentage signs? Are they not the are they not the food rations that you left behind? You know, just saying. Because I think we left like, what, 3 behind? Something like that. So really step into that magic trap. Oh, okay, these are not the food rations that were left behind, but this is dungeon level 1. I think that you can actually, I mean, I guess you could make a hole and kick it, but I think that you would actually survive this magic trap, probably. There's also a snake. You kick a food ration, so kicking it out of the trap so that we don't have to step onto the trap. It's okay, the dungeon will deliver some very fresh food. You would think that, but in 3.7 there's a change on... Wait, it's not like how often the enemies leave corpses, but it is to if they drop food or not. But nevertheless, we now have a food ration, but I'm pretty sure that somewhere there is a stack of food rations that you left behind. Maybe on level 3? Not quite sure. Anyway. Sacrificing a garter snake that we just killed. So instead of eating the corpses, going for the sacrifice, so maybe we could get a sacrificial weapon that for chaotic barbarian will be something super good, like I don't know, cleaver. I mean, cleaver is really good. In my guaranteed cleaver. Really? Guaranteed? We'll see. Yeah, just stay there sacrificing. So the cleaver is an axe that that makes like an area attack around you. So if you're wielding a cleaver and then you swing it around in a shop or something, and if you're next to the shopkeeper, you will kind of swing it around you in an arc, and then hit everything around you. So cleaver is that kind of a weapon, but you need to be slightly careful, not too careful, but slightly careful that you don't hit anything that you don't want to hit. Especially like also if you're close to floating ice or something, you don't want to hit cleaver. However, we don't currently have it, so we're continuing with our two-handed sword, which is an okay-ish weapon. It's not like super great. It's also annoying if it becomes cursed, and etc. etc. But here we are. And yeah, so take out what? We went to the stash and we had our food rations there. So now we have plenty of food with us again, so we're not gonna starve and we don't have to pray. We're starting to feel weak, so you need really pushing the hunger levels here. It is now the Hunger Games, I suppose, you know. May the odds be ever in your favor. Peaceful imp. So we are chaotic, so imps are peaceful. It still baffles me sometimes which creatures are peaceful to you when you have some kind of alignment. I think some of them don't make any sense, but all right. I didn't make the rules. But regardless, imps are peaceful, but the horse is not peaceful to the imps. The horse doesn't really have that much to eat. The horse will not eat food rations, so regardless. So if we want to keep this horse with us, we don't need to have a pet, I guess. But yeah, another floating eye on this level. A blessed dart. Ooh. Doesn't really make a difference much that the darts are blessed, but alright then. We were really not looking for blessed darts. That's not why we got the holy water, but we technically have enough holy water currently to bless the magic lamp. And if we were to wanting to get a wish, which is not a given, it's not a given that you will get a wish even from a blessed magic lamp. The genie can be generated like just saying like, oh, thanks for freeing me. I think sacking might be for luck before wishing. Yes, you get some luck points there, but regardless, nah, just want cleaver. All right, so unit is going for sacrificing here to get a weapon. which is nice. It's a nice choice. It's quite convenient that we have this altar here. We don't really have a lot of ways to create monsters currently. Should probably just use the magic lamp, though. Yes, usually. So this is the classic NetHack thing that if you have good stuff and you're not using it, it might be that you are dead and you will never get to use your good stuff. Now, dipping the magic lamp into the blessed water will now uncurse it first, and then we will bless it. Dipping the lamp again into holy water to bless it, and now it's no longer cursed. So now it glows with a light aura, and now I'm guessing we're gonna rub the lamp. Rub, 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 rub. Keep rubbing. Rub more. Rub. No. Grey Dragon Scale Mail asks Unit. So now there are some choices to be made. So now that we are wielding the lamp and we see a puff of smoke, it is indeed a magic lamp. By the way, I don't know if you wanted to name the magic lamp at this point to be a magic lamp, because now it's going to be like as a type object. Because after you rub the magic lamp and the genie comes out, it's no longer a magic lamp. It will turn into a normal lamp. So if you name it then I mean, yeah, question. But anyway, continuing. I will mean your debt. I will grant one wish, says the genie. So we may wish for an object. So now the question is, classic early game choices are to, in this kind of class that we have the barbarian, this is not the wish you want to make. No, just kidding. Unit is writing, I wish for donation to give directly. So just a few words to remind people that there is a charity. So there is a charity linked to this event. It is for Give Directly. That is a charity that gives money directly to the people in need and identified all over the world. So we are almost at we reached the previous goal of donations, and now the donation goal has been upped. So until tomorrow-ish, there is still time to give if you are so inclined. It's not necessary. I think there's an ascension bounty, so this wish can be an instruction fulfilled if you ascend. Mixo was saying silver or gray. So classic early game choices. Unit went here for Grey Dragon Scale Mail, which would have been my choice as well. I am the one paying the bounty, so I should die, says Unit. But yeah, there is a bounty for ascending, so I believe Unit has promised to donate 50 USD for any ascension. Now, the Grey Dragon Scale Mail is in my opinion, for the early game, considering that we are probably going to go to the Gnomish Mines, and if you are to go further down in the Gnomish Mines than Mine Town, there's going to be polymorph traps. And the Silver Dragon Scale Mail does not protect you from that. So I think in that sense, the Grey Dragon Scale Mail is a better choice because it will protect you from the poly traps. And so this is what Unit wished for here. So we have now AC -5. The AC -5 is a really good AC right now. It's seemingly that we won't have a bag. We have a lot of stuff. You begin bashing monsters with your lampname curse. So once you rub the lamp, you will technically wield the lamp. So you have to remember to wield your weapon back. Okay, thank you. Today I learned. Anyway, so now the weapon is called Pony Bane, but yeah, killing the pony, eating the pony corpse, continuing to go into the Gnomish Mines. So we have some light this time, and I am guessing that we are gonna go to the Mine Town and see what is in the shops there. We are in a good position to go into the Gnomish Mines with AC -5, and especially with the Grey Dragon Scale Mail that gives us magic resistance. So I'm not gonna say it's safe. Nothing in NetHack is really safe, but it's a good position to be in. There's some boulders, so there's a rolling boulder trap somewhere. So the thing about the mines is that what makes them so dangerous, depending on your class, which monsters are dangerous to you, but there's a lot of gnomes, there's a lot of traps overall. So there's a lot of traps all over the place. So as a chaotic character, most things will be hostile to us, which is not a problem. The gnomes are not that tough. And there's some dwarves. So if you're a lawful character, the dwarves will be peaceful to you because they're also lawful. But now that we're chaotic, they will attack us, which is good because in case you need armor, the dwarves usually have an armor. We are finding a towel, so towels are good. Now we have a way to blind ourselves or wipe our face after we immerse it in a cream pie. I mean, I'm sure that that's what you were thinking, Unit, with the towel, right? In case you get cream pied. Unit claims no, but I'm pretending not to read that message. So, anyway, unfortunately, I didn't get to keep the game with the cicatris or cockatrice corpse in the furry bag. Oh, yeah, that was unfortunate. There were some good beginnings in the meantime in NetHackathon before this game, but I would say this is a pretty promising start. I was going to call the bag emergency cock. Well, it would have been good. But regardless, so now exploring the gnomish mines a little bit further, we have a lit level here, picking up a potion. I paid the bounty for this ascension. Now go win. Or says G-Lord. All right, I'm gonna assume that you made a donation. So Roger says Unit. And yeah, thanks for everybody who have been participating in that charity. I'm sure that will go into a good use. So there is a bag here. What? You're not gonna use the bag? All right, the bag is empty. So, ding, ding, ding. Is this a bag of holding? I wonder. So the gnomish mines also has a higher chance of generating tools, including bags. So we are very fortunate that we have now found a bag. So continuing on to gnomish mines, and the mine town will always have an altar, so we can we don't have to like go back and see if the bag is uncursed or not in there. We can just continue to go into mine town. I see a Unit here hoarding daggers. You know, the daggers are quite heavy, you know, but I guess you're on your way to find out whether the bag of holding is, or the bag that we just found is a bag of holding. Because now if you put the items into the bag, you can weight test it. So if the bag is a bag of holding, it will reduce the item weight. So we'll see. Unit is putting a leather cloak and the daggers and some darts into the bag. And if our weight is reduced now, so okay, so we do not have a bag of holding. It's either a sack or an oilskin sack. So nevertheless, a bag is really good because it will protect the items from, an uncursed bag will protect the items from getting stolen. It will also protect them from a fire attack. Also, it will protect them from a shocking sphere. So as this is 3.7, the shocking spheres have become the most feared enemy of NetHack because the shocking spheres can just shock you and destroy pretty much all your wands and potions and rings and all that. So even a simple bag is very, very good for protecting your stuff. Now looking at we have a lot of stuff. Safeguarding the things by putting them in a bag. So the inventory management begins. This is true. I had my share of good inventory management yesterday on my turn. It was a good 2 hours of literally inventory management, which is really funny. But I can't believe like how important it is in NetHack to have inventory management. It is good to have like really a good inventory and find all the items and all that. And it can get tedious, especially if you find a lot of bones files and you just simply have a lot of stuff. It can take a really long time to organize the inventory. However, we are in manageable lines right now. And so now checking on the status of the pony, still alive. What are the 3.7 nerfs for Valks? So the Valkyrie has been nerfed in a very major way in 3.7 is that Valkyries used to start with a longsword. And when you're a lawful character with a longsword, you had a very good chance of dipping that longsword and getting the Excalibur, which is a really good weapon in this game. So now the Valkyries actually don't start with a longsword; they start with a spear. So you have to actually find a longsword, and not only that, they have reduced the chances of getting Excalibur by dipping into the fountain. So that chance has been taken down. Other than that, I wouldn't say that the Valkyrie is still a strong character, but the Excalibur hack has been the kind of bonus of like not only does the Valkyrie start with a +3 shield, but it was also that you can so easily get Excalibur as a weapon. But now that is no longer true. So it weakens the character somewhat, and some people are now even saying that wizards could be better characters for like more surefire runs. However, with the stats, and also now that the Valkyries don't have that kind of chance to get the Excalibur, I think it actually makes it more plausible that you can choose like a samurai for your starting runs. We were stepping into a trap, so enemies spawned next to us. So there's a were rat. So now we'd have to keep our eyes out if we get bitten and turned into a were animal, because that will be very inconvenient. We are currently blind and deaf, and we don't have a unicorn horn, so we cannot immediately get rid of these status ailments either. There's a wolf, so we are fairly deep into the dungeon right now, so the enemies are starting to get quite formidable. Wolves are quite formidable when there's more of them at once. But yeah, picking up stuff. Are spears better weapons? No, I wouldn't say so. A longsword is a better weapon than a spear. The longsword will do more damage, but these are again. A spear is not a bad weapon. It's just that the actual a sacrificial weapon of Excalibur, or getting like also the skill that you want, because even if you're playing a lawful character and you're not getting Excalibur, but you're getting, let's say, a sun sword, or if you're getting Frostbrand or something, you want that skill. You want that skill in longsword, and if you start with a spear, then you will have skill in spear and so on. So yeah, depends. So we found a crystal wand, and Unit was engraving on the floor with the wand, and the message said that the bugs on the floor stopped moving. So that means that it's a wand of death or a wand of sleep. And both of those items are really, really good, regardless. We are not sleep resistant currently. So that's a little bit risky to use the wand of sleep without reflection. I was hoping they buffed Spear Sage. Probably not. But I mean, regardless, but a spear's just not a good weapon. I'm not sure if there's actually weapons that are classified as spears and are artifact weapons. I'm not sure if any of the artifact weapons are spears. Somebody can tell me in the chat, because I'm not sure, but if you happen to know that, but I don't think so. I personally like things like I like the Samurai Quest weapon. That's just fun, you know, a lot of fun. The Tsurugi of Muramasa. I like that weapon because it has a chance of bisecting you, and then also I like the Vorpal blade because it has the chance of decapitating your enemy. I like the funny kind of effects like that. So we're rolling. Imagine if these were 2 death ones. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, we could zap one to find out for sure. Dwarvish throwing dwarvish spears. I mean, I guess the benefit of using a spear would be that you can throw a spear and you can find alternative spears. So if you have if you have multiple spears with you, the downside of that is that the spears actually weigh a lot. Now we don't have our own altar here. This is fine. We are just checking the blessed, uncursed, cursed status of our stuff here. We have some cursed daggers. I think we can get rid of them. We are currently burdened, so we have a bunch of stuff. Now in Minetown, we have a chance of finding. I guess because this is NetHackathon, I guess we have a chance of finding a bag shop. So hopefully we will find an actual bag of holding here because we are getting burdened, and unless we can identify our stuff and kind of streamline our inventory a little bit, it's just gonna be a matter of like dropping and adjusting things. Now Unit is dropping the axe and some daggers, so we are no longer burdened at the moment. We are not really using the axe, although I question that choice because if you want to get cleaver by sacrificing, then you will want the axe skill because we are skilled in two-handed sword, but only basic skill in axe. But depending on how keen you are on getting cleaver and having the skill once you get it, because of course you train your skill once you have that as well. But we are not being burdened by the axe. So wearing some gloves. No, now we are perfectly aligned for getting a cockatrice corpse. There's a kitten coming to attack us, so let's kill the kittens. There's a helmet here that is potentially can be good. A large shield will be very heavy. We have a sad moment for a oh my goodness, the rock piercer killed our pony. Rip. You bastard. No. The iron piercer is going down. Well, pet killer. Oh no. The bag found earlier wasn't holding? No. No, the bag found earlier is just a normal bag. Unfortunately. Must avenge. You smite pet killer. Yeah. Justice has been served. Revenge has been acted out. So, you know, surely we don't support revenge on this channel. Surely we are peaceful and pacifist. All of us hoping for world peace and so on. Not revenge, right? I mean, I'm only a huge fan of the John Wick movies, so I don't know what would happen if somebody killed John Wick's pony. I don't know what would happen. That would probably lead to some kind of epic 3 more movies. So we are donning the dwarvish round shield. It's quite heavy. So again, maybe getting rid of the stuff. I'm gonna drop the two-handed sword, maybe? I don't know, I would get rid of the daggers, but that's just me. We're chaotic barbarian, this is how we solve problems. Yeah, fear us mortals. Now continuing to look at our inventory, pick up what? Two-handed sword, it's gonna burden us. Yeah, so hopefully we will find maybe a bag of holding in one of these shops. I think we have enough money, so rare books, will you please leave your pickaxe outside? So the shopkeepers don't like pickaxes unless they are in a bag. So then they are just perfectly fine. Now this is a perfectly okay situation to see maybe price identify stuff. Unit is throwing some money around because of the rich spider daddy that he is. But it's mainly what you can do here is throw some money around to find the mimics in the shop. So if you don't want to fight the mimics, then you can just throw money around, and we're taking the scrolls out of our bag, and we're gonna just drop them on the floor and see how much they cost. So 25 gold pieces for Andava Begarin. We're not gonna sell any of these. We're simply gonna see how much they cost. Now 50 gold pieces for Fnord. So none of these are actually 150 gold pieces for Garvin Den. So none of these are actually Scroll of Identify because they are too expensive for that. There's a good chance that this Garvin Den is like 300, so that means that it's one of the more expensive scrolls. You can have, you could use the annotate tool to actually identify these. If you're accustomed to using this, you probably know the prices by heart of like what's gonna be what. I usually just check myself that if the cheapest scroll will always be identify, and the most expensive ones are usually the ones that you don't want to read in a panic. So the rest of them are not so harmful, but the most expensive ones will be interestingly quite harmful. All right, so Kirje cost only 10 Zorkmids, so that's gonna be our Scroll of Identify. The Scroll of Identify is always like super cheap, so that's how you know that it's a Scroll of Identify. So we have a couple of those, so we can technically identify some stuff in our inventory if we need to. There's not that many things that should be like urgently identified. I guess the scrolls are maybe the biggest thing to identify, so that you can use them in a jiffy. But they are also like not really that urgent. You mainly want to know if you have some scrolls that will get you out of trouble. Here we have Unit buying a stethoscope, so really just into finding those secret doors with the stethoscope. So the stethoscope can also give. I never use it for doors. I was about to say that you can also use it to find out, like, if you're fighting monsters, you can see how many hit points they have left. I never use it for that, but that's just me. Again, very many ways to play NetHack, depending on your playstyle. Now, continuing to shop around, there's usually like a food shop. There's usually a lamp shop. With NetHack, you just never know. NetHackathon, you just never know what's going to be there. There's an oil lamp. So no magic lamps for us in the lamp shop. General store. So the general store seems to have one mimic in there at least. The mimics we have AC -8, so that's really good. Not a lot of mimics can now stand against us, to be honest, so I'm not too you can easily avoid them though. The mimics will not attack you unless you find them. So you have to don't search in the shop, you just want to stand still if you don't want to find the actual mimics. Here, pearl ring, a long sword, door is locked. So actually, if you use a lockpick in this town, then you will actually anger the guards. But if you open the doors with a key, that will be perfectly fine. We have found a gray unicorn, so as we are chaotic, we can kill the gray unicorn easily, and also we can eat the unicorn corpse. But more importantly, we get a unicorn horn from it. So the unicorn horn will cure blindness and poisoning and whatever. And so we have now the one of the more important items in the game. Litharidro says, always when I'm down on HP, do I run or hit stethoscope first? Litharidro is such a diligent player, I must say. You are better than me, and I bow to you. But yes, I am not a big stethoscope user. I also find that it weighs a lot, and I just get rid of it most of the time. But yeah, you can use it to check for stuff. Sometimes I use it for finding secret doors. So now we have inspected almost all the rooms of Minetown. Not really that magnificent Minetown, really. Looks like Unit is mapping the final room of this town. On the right, there's a hidden door. I think it is cleaver time. All right, so next up, we're gonna go back to dungeon level 1, I suppose, and try to sacrifice as many things as we can so that we will be gifted cleaver. So that's gonna be some doing, since I don't think that we have any way to make monsters around us. So I guess that the shops didn't even have a bag of tricks, because if you use a bag of tricks, it will keep creating monsters from it. But I don't think that there was one. Yeah, it's just a leash in the items shop, so unfortunate in that way that we haven't found like a wand of create monster or something. That will make it a little bit nicer than the way around that the monsters are generated around you when you're doing altar camping or sacrificing. Right now, I think Unit has 36 minutes to go, so we are in a very good position. You feel full of hot air, so we got also cold resistance. So one thing that the Valkyrie start with is cold resistance, so that's also one of their benefits, I would suppose. We're gonna go to the next level, step into the spike pit. No, but now this barbarian also has cold resistance, so that's magnificent. Now the gnome lord was drinking a potion of gain level. Let's see overall. Just looking at how this is proceeding. So after Unit is AUX Z4, who is a very, very, very skilled NetHack player, is gonna be after Unit. So I think we're gonna have a very strong barbarian game going on if nothing super hazardous happens by then. We're being here just killing some gnomes, killing a gnomish wizard. These gnomes are less and less dangerous. I missed the sword. All right, so missing the sword for Valkyries. I don't really miss the sword because I don't really care that much about playing Valkyrie. Haha. But yeah, I think it will give more variety if people know damage on this axe. Oh, you missed the two-handed sword. Yeah, the two-handed sword, the axe will do, I think, less damage than the sword. But think of the cleaver. You must think of the cleaver. Aue is in the chat and says, I will attempt to go full pelt and possibly splat spectacularly. What are swords? Also, question from the chat. We don't know any swords around here, so move along. Nothing to see here. We've never seen a sword. We have already forgotten about any kind of sword. interestingly enough, we have found an amulet. So there is some kind of amulet on the floor, but it's very dangerous to put on an unknown amulet because it can be an amulet of strangulation or amulet of restful sleep. But now we are going back to the Mindtown altar to see the status of the amulet so that we can see if it's cursed or not. Interestingly enough, there's some blessed darts, and the amulet is uncursed. So when the amulet is uncursed, you can quite safely put it on. One exception is that this amulet can actually be still an amulet of restful sleep. So if we, in, I don't know, a couple of hundreds of turns, if we still would fall asleep suddenly, then we know that it's amulet of restful sleep. But Unit is playing it safe and not wearing an unknown amulet for now. But by nothing immediate, so there are a couple of amulets that are immediately identified, such as the amulet of guarding and amulet of flying. The gnome zaps a balsa wind. Your lizard corpse suddenly comes alive. So the gnome has zapped us with "You shudder in dread." So we have now an undead lizard next to us, and the gnome has a wand of undead turning. So interesting turn of events. We are smiting the lizard, and now we have again a lizard corpse. And again, our lizard was turned back to life. So we are again re-killing the lizard. But yeah, we have a wand of undead turning. Aoye says that they're gonna get a good breakfast. Mattock is good for Barb. Get the Mattock, go back, shaking my head. We can't get the Mattock. It simply weighs too much. And also, there's a rusty pickaxe in our backpack. And also, Unit's noble plan is to get the cleaver. So that's why we're dealing with the axe. I had Lithari Bro is saying, I had an uncursed amulet of restful sleep on time. I forgot about the amulet, just thought my character had narcolepsy. Little Raccoon is asking, why are lizards reviving? Is that new? No, it's not new. It is simply because we were zapped. We were carrying a lizard corpse and we were zapped with a wand of undead turning. Mattock does epic damage and doubles as digging duel. And you lost the two-handed sword. So, Mattock. But we are training the axe skill so that we can use the cleaver. Come on. Unit is writing that two-handed sword is just chilling. Yeah. So it is still in Mindtown, but I mean, come on. This is a very, these are solid choices here. But we're simply training the axe skill for getting the cleaver. That is a humble plan of, we have our own altar on dungeon level 1. And so if you go there and sacrifice, wand of undead turning turns lizards, lol, is it any corpse? It is any corpse. So if you have a corpse, I guess that Little Raccoon did not see the epic tale of Beatrice, our pet, that was a JJ polymorphed the pet into a shark, and the shark died because it's on land, and then it was resurrected. We threw it into the water and resurrected it again. Now falling down into dungeon level 1. Cleaver sucks. What are you people doing? Cleaver is just fine. Cleaver is actually, I beg to differ. I think Cleaver is actually really good. And why? Cleaver is better than what I have now, that too. But Cleaver is actually good when you're in the Barbarian quest. Fight me. Because you want something that does area damage around you, because there's simply hordes of enemies in the Barbarian quest. So it's actually, in my opinion, the Cleaver is actually pretty good. Now looking for the stairs on this dungeon level, because we drop down. Ultimately, I want Stormbringer. So see, there is now there is the long-term plan of getting Stormbringer. Stormbringer being better than anything, but yeah. Litharidro says, now just make sure the die are sent before my turn. So the Luthari Bro is gonna be up, I think, at a time when we Australians are actually sleeping. I'm pretty sure. Because next up is Awe, and then after Awe is Jono and Antigulp and Little Raccoon. Yeah, Luthari Bro is on at 2 a.m. our time, so we're not. Unfortunately, I won't be able to see that. So make sure you ascend, Luthari Bro. So pretty sure too. I mean, 9.5 hours. Yeah, 9.5 hours from now is gonna be too late for us people who live in Australia. It is now 4:30 p.m. in Australia. So that's that. I mean, for me in Australia, it's 4:30. For I think some of the other Australian people, it's actually 5:30 p.m. Anyway, we still have 28 minutes to annoy Awe with random weapon choices. Ironic. You usually stream 2 a.m. for me. Yeah, NetHack is so international. Yes, NetHack community. We NetHackers are everywhere. You cannot hide from us. You see no objects here. So again, I think our lamp has run out of power. So now fighting some random ogre lady. We smite the ogre lady. So going around in picking up a diamond ring, eating. Oh, Team A is back. So, but at this point, like once you have we are at AC -8, we have 75 hit points, and we are at experience level 8 soldier ants. Unless there's like a horde of them, they are beginning to be much less dangerous than they are in the early game. We're picking up a partly used candle to give us some light, and we have a third soldier ant coming our way. That turns to flee. So, but too bad, Unit is hunting down all the ants. So rejoice, ant haters. Luthari Bro says, I'm headed to bed soon. Little Raccoon, I should wake up sometime around the last hour of your stream, so see you when you're wrapping up. All right. Have a good night, Luthari Bro. I'll see you soon. So a sleep ray is hitting us, which this could be the end. Since we are not sleep resistant and we have no reflection. So we were hit with a sleep ray and we are currently asleep. So Awe, say goodbye to this barbarian. Dwarf hitch, we're at 21 hit points, 15. We're gonna see where this ends. We're being flanked by a gnome, between a gnome, and we are alive at 10 hit points. It's not over yet because the dwarf can just sap the wand again. However, so do we have a wand of death or a wand of sleep in the inventory? This is my question. We cannot use it against the dwarf because it will just bounce and it can hit us still.
Maybe,
but yeah, pray time.
Maybe it's worth.
I'm not sure if 10 hit points is low enough to get our god to heal us. But yeah, we have 2 ones. Elbereth with digging. How many turns does it take to engrave Elbereth? But 1. I guess gnomes and dwarves actually do respect that. Now let's see. Let's look at the look at the inventory. So we have the unknown amulet, we have a diamond ring, we have unknown potions, we have 2 wands of sleep. We have a stethoscope, unicorn horn, a wand of striking, wand of undead turning. So nothing that is like immediately helpful. Technically, I don't think that the gnome will hit you as hard as the dwarf. So I think if you move next to the gnome, I think you survive 1 hit and then you can pray. But digging is semi permanent. Yeah, if you engrave, it's semi-permanent. Also, we have a tele scroll. What? Since when? Since when do we have a teleport scroll? So one thing to do here we could teleport away. This is true. I think escaping by teleporting away is actually a very valid choice here. I think range attack anyway, engraving might wear away when we sleep. Yeah, that's also true. All right, we're reading a scroll of teleport. You materialize in a different location, so we are currently very far away from the dwarf, so as long as the dwarf doesn't zap the wand again, we're perfectly fine. Should have named the dwarf. True. Because now there's a random dwarf with a sleep wand on this level. Then again, maybe, since we have that unknown amulet, we could wear the amulet and hope that it's reflection. and if that happens, then and hope that it's not a amulet of I mean, we do have one scroll of identify, right? Okay, looking and taking out potions. So in case of I guess, but we have a blessed scroll of ID. All right, we're IDing stuff. So I guess the amulet is gonna be the first one to be identified. Magical breathing, not bad, but not really helpful for us at one ID from a blessed scroll. Yeah. You stingy RNG. Sometimes it be like that. It could be sleep too. Well, it wasn't, but magical breathing can be okay. You can't be choked to death when you're wearing magical breathing. Lithari Drew, you have the power to do that to Luxy Dream either way. And so Lithari Bro was saying that he's going to leave a fresh new character for Luxy Dream after him, but we'll see. I again will not be seeing that, unfortunately. I will be sleeping at that time. So, we are stuck on a dungeon level 10. We don't know where the stairs up are. We only know where the stairs down are. We are currently in a little nook of a corridor trying to possibly regain our health before now we're riding Elbereth and staying on the square, and now from this part nothing can really zap us, so hopefully we get to regain our hit points here peacefully. And now the Elbereth has worn away. We're again riding Elbereth below us. It's wearing away really quickly anyway, and I think there was some debuff to this as well. I don't really trust Elbereth anyway. But yeah, staying still for tens of turns and slowly regaining our hit points. The Leo Crota turns to flee. Okay, we have a Leo Crota here. Hits really fast, really hard. Technically, we can zap it with a Wand of Sleep and then just kill it. So now the Leo Crota was hit with a sleep, but it's running away still. Not really that effective, but anyway, we have a very, very sketchy situation here because we have first of all, we have that dwarf with a Wand of Sleep and no way to get rid of it, or no way to resist the sleep, and we also have a Leo Crota roaming free on this level, so it's a little bit of a dicey situation. So welcome on in, Andrew, into this dicey situation here. So we fell into this level. The Leo Crota is still fleeing, but definitely we need to kill that Leo Crota before encountering the dwarf that has the Wand of Sleep. There is just no good way out of this, because that Leo Crota will kill us if we fall asleep now. We were already almost killed. We were down to 10 hit points with this run, but we prevail. For now, we prevail. Hobbit is wielding an elven dagger, turning the flee. And now we have the dwarf that has come through the wall, zapping us with a Wand of Sleep. the sleep ray hitting us, the dwarf hitting us, and will this be the end? We are again flanked with the gnome and the dwarf. Yeah, okay. 16 hit points. The combat suddenly awakens you. So we have another scroll of teleportation still. That's how we last escaped this situation. However, there is a possibility of zapping. So Unit went with engraving Elbereth here. And now the dwarf is next to us and the gnome is staying next to us as well. It's pretty dicey here. With 19 hit points, the dwarf will not last long if we hit it, though. So this is the benefit, I suppose, of checking things with a stethoscope. So you can see the hit points and you can see the levels and whatever. But yeah, we need to desperately get rid of this dwarf with a sleep wand, because the benefit of having them flank us, though, is that the Leo Crota can't come to us currently, because the Leo Crota will easily take those 16 hit points. So the gnome is, ironically, the gnome is shielding us from the Leo Crota. Assuming that there's nothing worse on this level. I would actually, my choice here would be to smite the dwarf, funnily enough, because the dwarf is now unlikely to use the wand of sleep like right next to us. So I would probably just try to smite the dwarf, because at -8 AC we would be taking not too much damage. The other option is again to teleport away, but that opens us up to finding the Leo Crota. Or, well, actually, I am worried if I hit the dwarf and Elbereth disappears, and the Leo Crota. Yeah, but you have the gnome, so the gnome is shielding you. The gnome is the meat shield. And besides, if you have, the gnome will flee with Elbereth. But then again, if you kill the dwarf, you will have space on the left, and if the Leo Crota comes back from the left, then you can zap the wand of sleep, and then make the Leo Crota and the gnome. Ooh, the dwarf is maintaining, so HP 7. But we have now 8 hit points. So that's gonna be, this is fairly dicey. You kill the dwarf. All right, good job. The dwarf is dead now. We have a wand of sleep that we finally get back. Now, this is dicey in the way that we have 2 ways to us. So on the right, we also have a corridor that the dwarf has dug. So depending on where the Leo Crota is, I think we can actually use a blindfold to find out where the Leo Crota is. Though we have a towel, and we can see that the Leo Crota is further away. So at least the Leo Crota is not on our right side. We can kill the gnomes, and then we have an unknown scroll as well. Whew, that was a close call. But yeah, again, we don't know where the stairs up are, so we are still stuck on this level with our 11 hit points. Yeah, it was pretty sketchy for a while. The Leo Crota does not want to come this way, I think, because of the trap that is keeping it on the right side of the trap, which is very, very fortunate for us. I mean, we also don't want to fall on that trap, but regardless, we have a way of regaining our hit points slowly by hanging around with no random monsters against us. So the telepathy does not give you information if there are like zombies or some other brain dead things. It will only give you like live monsters around you. So that's why it's not good to stay blind in a way, because there can be like a giant zombie coming for you and you will never know because it does not show up on telepathy. Now, Unit carefully making his way to the right. With the towel, we have a trap next to us, but in 3.7 there's actually fall damage. So if you fall through a trap door, you can actually take damage. I believe that the play here is to use the Wand of Sleep on the Leocroda and then smite the Leocroda to death. I think that may be the plan here. We have 13 minutes to go, so it is getting. No, this game is still in a good situation. So there's this level. The next level seems to be having nothing too dangerous. Just some giant spiders, gnomes. We're in a corridor. So as long as nothing has a Wand of Sleep, we'll be fine. We'll be just fine. A surprisingly tough soldier ant for some reason. A trash weapon, all right. Well, the weapon is kind of trash because we should have gone back up. Back up to sacrifice for Cleaver, like, I don't know, 1,000 turns ago. But we have another dwarf coming for us. Some giant spiders, more gnomes. Gnome Lord sapping a Wand of Striking. So, like I said, we have no reflection at this moment. So any kind of wand, death wand, sleep wand, magic missile, you name it, we will be taking damage from that. We have a Wand of Sleep, so that's very powerful here. We can try to kill everything, and now we got this Wand of Striking back, so we are now the possessor of the Wand of Striking. We have magic resistance. Yeah, that's true. I completely forgot about our Grey Dragon Scale Mail. That we now also have a potion of full healing that is that is actually burdening us. But it's pretty good to have a potion of full healing. Dropping the daggers as not to be burdened. We're in a position to be blinded by a flash of light, and then the gnome has an expensive camera. Oh my god, the camera is such a good item in this game. I love taking photos of the monsters. It is a powerful, powerful weapon. It blinds the monsters and also makes them flee. So unfortunately, the gnome was using it against us. Not that it matters because we do have a unicorn horn, but the camera is a super powerful item. Had fun taking photos of death. I don't know if I've. Wait, I think I did do that once, right? I can't remember what happened. What happened then? A gnome just kills a dwarf. Yeah, exactly. You try to feel what is in the ground. Yeah, you can see again. So, making good progress here with the monsters of this level. But yeah, there's a Leocroda above us, and we have no way of. But yeah, the camera has saved me many times, and I think it does even work on death. I remember I had it on the astral plane. I definitely used it there. I can't quite remember what happened. And now then, exploring this dungeon level slowly but surely, and we are back to 53 hit points, which is it's getting to be really good. We have a Dwarf King. They can be quite powerful enemies. Sometimes not, sometimes yes, but so the Dwarf King is hitting us 3 times in one turn for us. We're just simply hitting it with a Sleep Ray, and there goes the Dwarf King. Dwarf King carrying a pickaxe, and up we go. Slowly regaining our hit points. We are now in full health, and I believe now is the time to try to kill that Leocroda, because we are in full health. We have a potion of full healing and a Wand of Sleep, which we're zapping on the Leocroda. the Leoproda wakes up and again hitting it with a sleep ray. The Leoproda is now dead. So we are finally rid of the Leoproda and the sleep wand dwarf. Now, we could have checked with the towel if there's anything more dangerous on this level, but there doesn't seem to be. There's only one gremlin. So now we can just try to see where the stairs up are. We have 4 scrolls of identify, so that's pretty good. We are putting the stuff into our bag as not to lose it. We simply took the items out for identifying them. So Andrea is also saying, phew. So yeah, all right, we have 8 minutes to go. So countdown has started for will Unit find his way out of the dungeon or out of the gnomish mines? I mean, that would be a choice too, getting out of the dungeon, just going to the dungeon level 1 and just exiting the dungeon, because a lot of people don't know that you can actually do that, and it will just simply end the game. You will get a score of your points, and it will end the game. You don't actually have to die, and you don't have to get the Amulet of Yender if you don't want to, but that kind of defeats the purpose. But it's a thing. So now we have another unknown level, but we are now coming back to dungeon level 8, and we have a staircase to dungeon level 7. We are back into Minetown. So it seems that we were able to make our escape here. And yeah, unfortunately, we still haven't found a bag of holding, so I guess it's Sokoban time for whoever is coming next our way can enjoy solving some boulder puzzles, I suppose. You sell a lot of gems, take your earnings and leave, retirement fund secured. Well, unless you want the points, because in that case you want the gems with you. You get some points from gems and artifacts and stuff like that in NetHack. Just checking the status of the items on the altar. So we have an uncursed ring, an uncursed item, like uncursed diamond ring. Oh my goodness! And we have the amulet of magical breathing, and etc. etc. We have some blessed scrolls, some uncursed scrolls, and yeah, not a lot of cursed things. Only the cursed wand of striking. So the thing about cursed wands is that they can explode when you use them. So that can be a little bit annoying, but not like a huge thing. So now we're putting the stuff back into the bag to safeguard them. And yeah, and that's that. We are picking up the sword, I guess, for our to decide whether you want to use a sword or what do you want to use. But choices of weapons were made. It would be good to sacrifice for Cleaver and Stormbringer. So, but we don't really have anything to create monsters still. We haven't found like a bag of tricks or a scroll of create monster or the wand of create monster. So the pickaxe is still with us. The trusty pickaxe. Such punning. I know you've been enjoying this incredible punning. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. Bunches of stuff that we have with us. I guess the play is to actually go back up and because I think to explore down, it is dangerous to do without sleep resistance or reflection. And then how do you get that? Is that it's Sokoban time and maybe do some price ID and yeah, that's also maybe sack stuff. Yeah. So there's some price ID possibility while you're in Minetown, like if you really want to know about those scrolls, but you do have scrolls of identify, so if you just get more potions, I think that you could easily get maybe the full ID. But anyway, So up to you, Unit, where you want to leave it, because it's now 4:56, and we are about to turn it to AOA, and let me just, I'm gonna go check if AOA is live already, or still waiting, or how is it going? Are they ready or not? Because it's soon time, and the raid time is getting nearer. So AOA, let us know in the chat when you are actually live and ready to be raided, because Unit is running out of time to set this barbarian up. It's been a pretty epic run with epic pets and very, very promising start with the wish for the barbarian. So that wish was used for Grey Dragon Scale Mail. So the Grey Dragon Scale Mail has been carrying us through the mines. Sokoban is later in the dungeon, so we went down to dungeon level 7, I believe, dungeon level 8, somewhere around that time. So the Sokoban is fairly late in this dungeon, and there's been a couple of good resistances to be had, but obviously sleep resistance is still eluding us. We have poison resistance, and as we are an orc, and then I believe we got cold resistance, and I'm not sure if there was any other resistances. Well, we have telepathy, that much is obvious. But yeah, interestingly enough, this is not the worst start to the game. And now just Unit doing some price IDing. So just dropping items on the floor and seeing how much the shopkeeper is giving for them, and possibly looking at the great the annotate tool, and also naming these scrolls. I never do the naming of the scrolls. I just name them like according to what they might be. Zigzag is something expensive, so that will mean that it's a good scroll or a very bad scroll. Just putting some price tags on them. Imagine you're in a shop and you're putting on your own price tags. Who would have thunk about that? Continuing to drop the scrolls in the scroll shop, and yeah, continuing on. We still have no message from AOA, but I'm gonna assume that they're having breakfast, because they said previously in the chat that they're getting some breakfast. So, but now it is 5 p.m. It is technically the end of Unit's turn. Let's see about this. All right, so AOA is already live. I guess they're just not in the chat, so I'm gonna just quickly write in the chat that are they okay to be raided? Ready for the raid? Question mark. I have them on mute though. But yeah, if they're ready to be raided, then Yeah, Graves, you followed. You have missed Unit's turn, so it was quite a turn of events. Going down to 10 HP, and stuff. I can see. Oh, he's talking. Read the chat. Come on. Read the chat. I'm gonna assume that they are ready to be raided. So I guess it's time for saving the game. So the saving of the game actually takes a little while. So maybe like save. So